Okay, this is Bob Main, former chairman of the Wyndham Republican Town Committee, and I'm talking to Mr. Dotel, who is running for this 2-year position for Board of Finance. And I've talked to him on a number of occasions. Recently, I just met him. I've realized that back in high school, I knew a couple of his relatives very, very well. Anyway, the point here being, I'm very impressed with the knowledge that he has and the way he has dedicated himself to this community. And I wanted to ask a few questions of him. First of all, we know pretty much why you want to be on the Board of Finance, but let's ask a couple of specifics now. One thing I think is very interesting, and I think people really are concerned about, is the fact that the educational budget that we've had has always been quite high. And now they're looking for, what, $80 million or more. And you had a bit of background. You wanted to tell us about this, and perhaps you could give us a little background as to what we're going to do in this occasion. I mean, you think in the Board of Finance, you know, we really are not the guys that are going to be calling tunes, but we are the guys that do hold the purse strings, and I think we can certainly have a significant influence on what's happening. What do you think about the educational budget at this point in time?
The educational budget right now, I don't feel as if they're using it to the most efficient manner that's available to them. They're locked into a particular situation, having the master, Mr. Adamowski, over them, and that's something that we have limitations in controlling. And he pretty much showed his face here not too long ago when the emphasis of the hot potato, a lease agreement that the Board of Education had entered into when the town had gone through the same briefing as the Board of Ed did, and advised the Board of Education not to go down that road because they didn't see that it was a financial additive.
Well, let me ask you specifics now. Let's talk about numbers. You know, they were talking about $80 million.
They're looking to the tune of $60 million of the $180 million that they have identified for a 10-year capital improvement program for the Board of Education facilities in the town of Wyndham.
Let me ask you a question right here. Okay, now we just built a magnet school, which supposedly is going to cost about $40 million. We know it's going to cost us a lot more for operating expenses, but we're talking about building an entirely new school for $40 million. And we also talked to a man, Stephen Edelman, who is running for the council, and he has 3 daughters that are doing exceptionally well in a charter school, and they converted a thermostat bottle factory into a school. Very nice little school. He's talked about that before. It cost them $80,000. So we're talking about $180 million versus $80,000. Now, again, his children are going to a school where the academic performance is substantially higher than that in Wyndham. So it appears to me that maybe there is a certain gap between the quality of the education and the money which is spent on the school. And it seems to me that certainly the parents would be under less stress if their children were going to a school and they knew that they were going to be able to pay their taxes. How do you feel about the idea of $80,000 versus $180 million? And what would you be able to do? I know that we don't call the strings, on the educational budget. As you say, Mr. Adamowski has a great deal of control, but it seems to me that we could probably do more, with the bully pulpit. We do control the financial budget, and it seems to me we could certainly make our views known on this, and you certainly have a lot of analytical ability in the finance area. What do you think about all this?
Well, the way the parents have reacted so far in response to the educational system that is established and been current running for years, barring the brand new school, which will not be fully complete and fully loaded until 3 years pass, because right now we're only just entering the minimal stages of getting that school running, and it's going to be basically be feeding itself. The children that are in there now are going to progress into the upper grades, and then you're going to be backfilling them with the kids that are in the middle school right now. They'll be fusing over, and also the grammar schools that are within Sweeney and Natchog. They're going to be feeding into the new school also. So, and we have to give 150 slots to regionalization. So we only have 450 children that can come from direct.
So we're talking right now about $40 million for a brand new school that we just built
Right.
And we're talking about a school which is already in existence, and you've indicated to me in the past that we need 180 million to clean up the bathrooms
what-
and things of this nature.
This is what Fryer Corporation has identified as being brought on to analyze the existing school buildings as to what they feel is needed to bring those schools up to grade, current standards, to feed and take care of the educational issues dealing with the children in this area.
I am aghast for anybody to be talking about $180 million when a thermos bottle factory can be converted into a high-quality school for $80,000. I think you can clean up a lot of toilets, and you had indicated maybe we were talking about cleaning up the toilets and painting the walls.
Getting them operational, period. There's
Yes,
apparently
this is another thing.
we basically lease the town building, which is the schools, to the educational system. It is their responsibility to maintain those facilities in an operational manner. Basically,
Do
the
you
way
think
you
there's
got
a
it.
role for us on the Board of Finance? Yes, it's not our primary purvey. We just hold the purse strings. But do you think what maybe a guy like you've been there, you've seen it, you've managed a major budget in the military, do you think that's something that we maybe ought to be taking an eye on to make sure that they're using the funds that we allocate properly?
Most definitely.
Yeah.
The manner that I've seen in which they've handled it is irresponsible. They've never been held accountable, and that became evident the other night when they finally decided that, in a vote of 6-3, the Board of Education decided that enough is enough. We need to look down the very close road and get another superintendent and start heading in the right